Reset! Huh.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Yeah, so I have a lot of titles, and other than Pop, the best title I ever had was a paratrooper M60 gunner. It's who I am. I've gotten some other titles, some other jobs, but yeah, I am very proud of my service, particularly when I was an M60 gunner. Today, every day is Memorial Day, right? We're always thinking about our fallen 648 that are here. The men and women who served over there, it's in their heart every day, or it's in a memorial bracelet you think about. I think about Mark Patrick Phelan, who was killed in Iraq with me. But we never let it go. Every day is Memorial Day. Today's Veterans Day. Where are my veterans? Put your hands up, please. Please, put your hands together for our veterans. And by veterans, I mean you served in combat in Vietnam. You served in combat in Korea. You're a World War II veteran. You served in South Dakota guarding our air bases. You were an Army reservist, an Army National Guardsman. You went to Somalia. You went to Grenada. You were part of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Whatever it is that you served when you put that uniform on, today is your day. Today is our day to remember your service. And we appreciate, no matter what your service was. I hear too many people say, I didn't go to Vietnam. I didn't go to Iraq. But you were in uniform. And if you'd have been called, you would have went. Again, peacetime, wartime, all veterans. And a special thank you out to the families. Because when we serve, you serve. So there's 58,000, more than 58,000 souls on the wall from Vietnam. And again, there's 648 right behind us. Vietnam, that war from 1950. That's really when it started, when we had our advisors there, up through 74. And then how many were left behind in captivity that we don't know? It's a long war. And today, recently, another long war, Afghanistan, the similar endings. We all watched as the helicopters took off from the embassy out of Saigon, and then the helicopters being pushed off the ships so people could be put on the ships to get them out of Vietnam. There's a connection between Vietnam veterans and veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. A huge connection. As a kid, I watched the war on TV. I watched you in live firefights. Dan Rather, downrange, watching you get shot at and killed, and killing. We watched it on TV. I watched it growing up. And then the next story was the demonstrations on our street, how divided our country was. Our country was divided because what was your mission? Hearts and minds? Bob Alexander, where you at? My Vietnam veteran buddy. Hearts and minds. That's what they told you. It's what they told us too. World War II, folks. 2 missions. Berlin and Tokyo. That was their mission. Get there and we're done. When you went to Korea, what was your mission? Because if it was to go all the way to Beijing, you would have done it. No, the politicians kept interfering with military missions. Same thing in Vietnam. They kept interfering with the missions. Go back and take the same damn hill over and over again. World War II, they took the hill, then the rest of the nation and kept moving forward. But for Vietnam, for Iraq, and for Afghanistan and Korea, What was our mission? So this is the bond that we have. This is the bond. So I'm a kid in Fairmount playing Little League Baseball, and they said, come on, there's a mass out of 24th and Aspen on the street. We were in Little League uniforms. And it was a mass to begin the memorial for Patty Ward. Patty Ward was a Fairmounter, a door gunner. He's on the wall here. And it just shook through Fairmount about Patty Ward being killed. People like George Ginder coming home wounded, and his buddy didn't make it home, his neighbor. It shook the neighborhood. Years later, I was delivering pizzas for Beato's. 2 pictures on the wall. One of the Rizzos with George Beato. He used to give great discounts to the police officers, those who are a little older. The police officers involved in the move and all that, they would come in and get a discount from George Beato. But he had the Rizzos up on the wall. And he had one other photo up there, a giant portrait of Patty Ward. He was a driver at Beato's. And it was happenstance later, I'm a driver for Beato's. And I got to look at Patty Ward as I delivered pizzas. But it was a neighborhood thing, even during Vietnam, that we tried to come together. So yeah, I went in the Army in 81, got out in 89. I'd been a M60 gunner with the 1st 505 82nd. I was on a DMZ with the 2nd ID. I went to Panama with the 1st 508. Got out, education benefits, law school, etc. And then 9/11 I watched on TV. And then I watched the fiasco involving a transportation unit. Jessica Lynch was part of that unit. If you go back and look at that, you go back and look at the after action report, it was enough that made this 43-year-old get off his couch in his boxer shorts and re-enlist. I'd been out for 14 years, and I realized as a former grunt, I can assist. Sort of had to trick the doctors to let me in, to be honest with you. Many people who should not have been able to get back in post 9/11 got in. I was one of them. I was a 43-year-old, and they handed me an M16 and a squad to go to Iraq in 2004. And I was proud to do it. But again, I was a true believer in it. As I was getting ready to go over, the conversation with some of my buddies in the 82nd Airborne Association, Bobby Alexander, Vietnam veterans, him, Roger Moken, some others. Bob was actually crying to me as I was explaining to him, I'm going to Iraq with a civil affairs unit for hearts and minds. And we both started crying because Bob was like, wait a minute, that's what they told us. That's what they told us, hearts and minds. And he was like, basically saying, come on, man, what are you doing? And I'm a true believer, I'm going. And I go. And again, I get to experience firsthand what that meant. While the men and women on the ground believed in hearts and minds, trying to help the locals. I don't know if that was coming from above at all. I think it was just words on a paper, except those downrange believed in it. We believed in it. I don't think anybody else did other than the people on the ground. Same thing, the politicians. What was our goal there? What was our mission? I'm still waiting to get what our mission was. But I'll tell you one thing, a lot of similarities about what was our mission, what was the mission in Vietnam, what was the mission in Afghanistan and Iraq. And I get all that. You guys definitely stopped communism. I don't have any doubt about that. When we look over at some of the things that have happened, but I'm telling you, the big difference for us, where we part ways, is that when we came home, we were welcomed home. And you know why we were welcomed home? Because you, the Vietnam veteran, stood at the front of the line and made sure no other veterans group was treated like garbage, like you were treated when you came home. So I'm here, one of the reasons I'm here is to thank the Vietnam veterans for being at the forefront, for being at the airport, for being on your motorcycles, for saying goodbye to those who were being deployed overseas, but being there for when we came home, for when we came home. Care packages that I got while I was in Iraq rivaled what a brigade would get for their mail. I sent out a message to people saying, send me some care packages for the local kids, and I was inundated. It was amazing the support I got from Philadelphia. And the Vietnam veterans, many of them that I know from here, from Mercer Street, sent all kinds of packages. So my unit, my fellow soldiers and airmen and Marines could distribute them to the locals. So we can try that hearts and minds that we believed in and that we tried wholeheartedly to make happen. So this is Bridget and Finn. Kevin and Bridget are the proud parents of a little boy named Finn. So Kevin, his recovery and his return back home is now complete with a beautiful bride and his beautiful little Finn, who thankfully, well, you know what? He does look like Kevin, so he doesn't quite have that cheesy mustache, Kevin, but you really need to understand, folks, how important it is what you Vietnam veterans do for present-day veterans, because never again will our country not welcome home our warriors, not welcome home our warrior, not assist our warrior to make it here. I mean, we're sitting up here. Look at Finn. Oh my God. So, I mean, look at who's sitting up here right now. Our Vietnam veterans up here. We have Denny Best, who as a machine gunner in Vietnam lost both his legs. We have Chief Justice Ron Castile, who lost a leg in Vietnam as a Marine Corps platoon leader. And now we have Kevin McCloskey from the second best Army division ever, the 101st Airborne, all up here. So seriously, put your hands together for Kevin, Finn, and Bridget. As we say in Philadelphia, his family is good people.
To start the presentation of wreaths. The wreaths are off over to my left. If the presenters would stand by their wreath, I'm going to call you up and you're going to walk behind the color guard and you're going to follow this handsome gentleman right here in the fatigues. So please go to your wreaths, please.